Hola, students, and I hope everyone's having a wonderful summer. This is just a couple of my thoughts. I haven't been on Twitter for a couple days, so please forgive me. I did promise you 30 minutes a day. I just been really busy, and I promise I'm going to hit about 30 minutes like tonight. I want to talk about being genuine, and it's a tough thing to be genuine. Life is very tricky, you know that? And some of you that were actually in my classroom, a good portion of you were never in my classroom, and you know my policy, if you follow me, I'm going to follow back, because, I don't know, I think of this as a wonderful way to keep in touch with the community of students that in some way, somehow, I've impacted. Being genuine is a very tough thing to be. In life, there's so many curveballs and so many tests when you're by yourself in your own loneliness for you not to be genuine with who you are. And for those of you that aren't my students, you probably don't know that I really incurred a huge loss in my life this year, and I went through things that I never expected that I would go through. And but that's part of the humility of life, is understanding that as proud as we are of our life, as hard as we work, we still will go through some struggle. The struggle is real, as my students would say. But be genuine during that time. It was Dr. Cosby, one of my nursing teachers, that told me that integrity is what you do in the dark. The minute she said that, I was so young and it was so fresh to me that I wrote it on my body. And everyone's like, oh gosh, Dennis, you're crazy, you're crazy. And as my students know, I am. I'm pretty damn insane. But I wrote that on my body. Integrity is what you do in the dark. And then there's also Dr. Grant, nursing teacher at the Coleman College. She told me, Dennis, make your decisions wisely. For a decision turns into a habit. Then a habit will turn into a behavior. And a behavior will turn into your character. But all change starts with one decision. I encourage everyone to make the right decision. The hard decisions are toughest, especially when it requires you to be true to yourself. The easy decisions are the ones that require you to sell yourself out so quickly. There's this guy, Rockefeller, throughout history, and you probably know him before the oil industry, and Carnegie for the railroad. And they asked him in an interview, how much is the price of one man's soul? And he said, a little bit more. You'd be surprised. We always sell out for a little bit more. And it's tough because it's our instinct to adhere towards things that are impulsive, which is why I believe young men cheat on their girlfriends. This is why I believe that women will make stupid decisions being with men they have no business being with, that just make them unhappy. And, but even after you make the decisions, you got to make the decision correct. And that requires you to have integrity during those moments. I think a lot of the problems that I see, not only on Twitter, but just everywhere I go, you'd be surprised, 32-year-old man, I see everyone with problems. And even myself, I have problems. And the number one issue that people have is they're afraid. They're afraid to make decisions that build their character. And their integrity it falls short. So I'm not saying to do this, but even criminals of the mob, or even drug dealers, have a sense of integrity. Otherwise, they wouldn't be there. You ever wonder this, why a drug lord has 10 people with 10 machine guns willing to shoot whoever comes through the door trying to kill the boss? Now, do the math. There's 10 guys with 10 machine guns. If someone were to if they could be bought, wouldn't they just be bought and just shoot the boss? No. There's some kind of communication that boss has that has a sense of integrity that communicates from one soul to another. And I'm not dignifying a drug dealer by all means, but I'm just saying that integrity, it runs deeper. It's a deeper need than we make it out to be. And all these problems that I feel that the young females have with attention, of needing attention, All of that can be solved if you make decisions based on integrity. And all these, you have to understand, I'm old school. So when guys waltz around acting like, this girl likes me, this girl loves me, look at how many girls like me and like me, like, you have to understand, as an old dude, as an old fart, that has no appeal to me. And I come from an era where it's like, not how many girls can love me, but how can I love a woman? And that's very old school to me. And this new school generation, I think it's kind of stupid. I think you're just walking around acting like a child. I don't even want to demean women by saying you're acting like a woman, because I've seen some strong women, and it's just stronger than some of the guys I've seen around these parts. I mean, look at Ridgepoint volleyball team alone. They can squat. They can do a form of a squat better than some grown men that I know. And they're strong and tenacious. They can make decisions based on logic and not emotion, and they can decipher the difference between selling themselves out short and indulging in something they want. And there's a lot of men that can't, and they're so stuck on trying to become an artist or trying to become do something different than the norm because they think they're just so special. I think the most special people are the people that believe that, or they know that they're not that special. We are all human beings, and we all have these flaws. And becoming very talented in something means that you're utilizing what you're good at, and you abstain from the things that you're not. Only an idiot or a fool would believe that they're just good at everything, and that's just stupid to me. So make your decisions based on integrity, based on you being genuine, have a genuine regard for others, and I promise you will go far. In the short run, it never works. You know how they say that nice guys finish last? No. Nice guys filled with integrity always come out on top. Because when they elevate everyone else, they themselves find wings to fly. That's just how it works. A lot of you that know me personally know in the classroom I never dissed on anybody. I just never did. And I did my best to make sure that no one felt stupid. You know, everyone's different, man. Everyone has a different learning curve. And plus, man, you don't know what people go through behind closed doors, man. You don't know what goes on and said behind those closed eyes. Some people, man, when they close their eyes, their whole world is filled with pain. And you can't judge that based on a test score, and you can't judge that based on one outing with one person. You can't judge that based on I hate people that say, I'm a good judge of character, and usually I'm right. That's because, dude, that's all you see is flaws. Do you understand that we are flaw-finding people? And if we look for flaws, that's all we see in a person, man. I screwed up royally, man, like a lot. With a lot of my friends this year, a lot of my best friends this year. Even within my own family, I screwed up. And it'd be unfair if they just kind of judged me just based on the screw-up instead of me trying to fix it. You know, nobody's perfect, man. Don't try to go down that route like you have it all together. Courage comes from knowing the fact that you don't have it all together, and yet you walk through the door anyway, knowing what you're getting into. Because that's what real courage is about. If you don't have a fear, then it's just called pride. And both are necessary, but you need to make a distinct difference between the two, for sure. And so for me, I just feel like not just your generation, everybody needs to just delve into more genuine regard and tenacity, and have a genuine respect and have integrity for one another, man. Because that's what's really going to get you far. It's going to get you far in life. It gets you further than any grade point average that you'll ever receive. And I promise you, there's many people that I know that had a 3.75 grade point average. They graduated really, really top in college. But ask yourself this question. If it was that easy, then why doesn't everyone do it? Oh, because they just don't have what it takes. They're just stupid. No. Double think that, man. What is one person that really believes that graduating at top, what's their one weakness? Arrogance. They honestly believed that if they just followed the rules, that everything will be okay. That's called expectation. That's called assumption. And as I teach all my chess students, Every person on the chess team knows the first thing I say is you always assume that your opponent is good. You never say that I'm good, that you suck, and I'm just awesome. And even when people play video games and the first thing that comes out of their mouth says, you don't want this, you're going to get wrecked. That's why you're going to lose. And the same thing goes for anyone that graduates in the top of the class and they don't have a respect for anybody else but themselves. They will lose. I promise you, they will lose. They will fail. Because anyone that tries to rule by fear or intimidation, what happens when they stop fearing? If I try to rule my people in my life with fear and intimidation, if I try to intimidate them with my talent, if I try to show them that I'm better than them because I'm more talented than them or smarter than them, what happens when they're not scared anymore? The scariest human being is one that's not afraid. I promise you that. So, don't rule that way, man. Be humble. Stay grinding. Stay going at the top. Do not tear anyone down to make yourself feel taller. Rise above. And then help other people and help carry other people to there. You know, because that's really essentially what elevates a person. I'm 32 years old and I see really, really all the investments that I had in integrity, in trying to help others. Those are the things that helped me elevate to this point in my life. All the other things where I was selfish for myself, where I was scared because I was scared of not receiving something in return, I promise you it was a waste of my time and led to the biggest calamities of my life. So, in conclusion, not just to my students, to anyone that sees this video, man, you got to keep it real and stay genuine and stay filled with integrity to the people that you... If you hurt somebody, whether it was accidental or intentional, please apologize to them and just move on forward. Don't make that mistake again, because otherwise you're just making an excuse for you continually making the same bad decision over and over again. Be humble, admit what you do is wrong, and that is where true learning and true elevation of yourself will happen. Because if you're just going to make an excuse for it and you're just going to act like, oh, I did that and that just happened because of this and this and this and this. No, you're not owning up to anything, and if you don't own up to anything, you can't build anything. If you can't build anything, you can't go up. The best parts of my development were when I embraced the struggle and I embraced the pain. The worst parts is when I made an excuse for it and I delved into the things that I was scared of. So please make the right decisions this summer and for the rest of your life. And that's the way you can make Mr. A very, very proud and very, very happy of the work that I do in a classroom. Aside from the physics, aside from the chemistry, that's how you'll make me proud. At ease, enjoy your summer. 1.